Hello. Today we'll talk about content or course outline. So, in any curriculum, we know that students have to learn certain contents, and these contents are designed or put in curriculum in such a way that they progress along. And depending on what the nature of the learning is and the content is, your course outline or content outline will be of varying length. And so a course outline contains the major ideas, components, or topics of the subject you are planning to teach in a curriculum. So as a curriculum planner or developer, you lot of times you have to presuppose subject matter expertise of the people who are planning it. So one of the big challenge a lot of times is that when we think about curriculum, we have to also think about content expertise. So in the case of schools, teachers are the content expertise. Therefore, they are better suited to think about and lay out what contents students need. Therefore, we need to plan that content, and that is the aspect of course outline or the content outline. And so the other part of it is that when you do content outline, it depends on how detailed you want to be or how nebulous you want to be. So for example, as a curriculum developer, if we believe that science teachers in particular content area in general will have less content knowledge on a particular topic or ideas, then you want a much more detailed content outline in it. So that way the teachers know what aspects to cover. The other part of it is that content outline also, if we think about it differently, is that it indicates which contents and sub-contents are important within that unit or in the curriculum. So whatever content outlines contains, that tells the students that these are the things we value, and therefore you have to learn about it. So for example, if we are thinking about from the book on page 31, right? So if we are teaching about the Arctic and the climate in the Arctic, so the question becomes is that within the, let's say, the content on climate of the Arctic, do we want to talk about seasons? Do we want to talk about length of day and night? Do we want to talk about change in weather in the Arctic? Do we want to talk about the temperature variations in Arctic? What else do we want to talk about? Or do we only want to talk about seasons and the Arctic days and night? So these are really important components of it. So when you write content outline or course outline, you need to think about that, because one of the challenges in writing curriculum is that how much the outline should contain. Or do we just want topics, or do we want questions listed too, in order to help teachers or any curriculum readers to find out that these are the questions through which we will explore certain science content ideas. Therefore, it's really important. The other part of it is that the scope and the length of the content outline will vary depending on what we want. For example, content outline in particular topic might be only 10 items, versus in another of the same length we may have 21 items. So it depends the scope and the length varies. The other part of it is that one of the things to think about when we write content outline is the sequence. So the exact sequence of the topics on the outline is really important, because a lot of times many teachers do not have time to go through all the curriculums and details of it. What normally happens is that teachers generally look at the content list and they go from top to bottom. Therefore, when we design curriculum, we want to ensure that the sequence of the topics in the outline are in a way that we want the teachers to use. The other part of it is that whenever we are thinking about content outline, we also have to think about, is this content appropriate and is intended for the audience that we are thinking about. So a content outline for elementary grades will be very different on the same topic, let's say phases of the moon, versus in middle school or in high school, and that has to be an important consideration when we think about it. The other part of it is that the content outline, you also need to think about the inclusiveness of the outline, in the sense that does it represent the relative importance of the topics and subtopics, because we want to ensure that the topics that are really important or the subtopics that are really important, they are covered adequately and appropriately, both in terms of the depth and also in terms of the breadth. The other part of it is that a lot of times it is okay to break a topic in content outline into subtopics and subtopics, right? So instead of saying item number 3 may have 2 subtopics, and in one of the subtopics we may have 3 other subtopics within that. So we need to think about in terms of how do we want this content, what contents we want in it. And the other part of it is that whenever we are thinking about content outline, we also need to keep in mind continuously is that what are the learning outcomes we are thinking about it. And these are the learning outcomes we want students to know. So have an idea about the learning outcomes associated with each of the content outline. We will talk about intended learning outcomes, ILOs, in the next class meeting later on, but keep that in mind. So generally content outline is basically one way to think about it, is to thinking about it in terms of topics and subtopics. So when you first write it, just you can be quite general, and as you revise it you can make it better in it. So for example, if you look at on page 31 is the content outline that you will see is this on the Inuit of North Alaska, and then it has topics and subtopics within it, even though it's an example from geography, but it actually has many components related to science. So I think, and then if you go to page 32 and 33, you will see this long list of outlines, and then you will see that in some places they have more descriptions in the subtopics compared to other places. And so keep that in mind when you are writing your own content outline. So that's all about the content outline. And one other quick note is make sure that think about your unit curriculum about 8 to 12 weeks long, so it's not for the entire year. And hopefully this video helps you in thinking about what is a content outline or a course outline, and I will answer your questions. If you have any, please just post it or email me, and have a wonderful day.